Is the Tahoe Truckee real estate market going to crash in 2022? Are we going to see significant prices come down as well as seeing additional foreclosures and people moving out of the area? My name's Christy Morrison, your Tahoe Truckee real estate expert, and today we're going to explore the factors that could affect our prices up here in the Tahoe Truckee area, and I'll give you some of my insights on what I think is going to happen for our real estate values here in 2022. So let's get started. So here are four major factors that I think are that could potentially hurt our prices here in the area. Number one is the urban migration. So ever since March 2020, when we went into our COVID lockdown, that's when people were really escaping the Bay Area and Sacramento to come and live up here. And that pressure to move up here and have to buy, that is something that we had never experienced in all of my 20 years of selling real estate up here. That was the most amount of people that had to buy a property up here. Before that, it was second home sales, and with a second home, it's kind of like selling a boat. Like, do you have to have it? Not really. Do you really want one? Yes. So this really shifted the dynamics of our prices and really contributed to a lot of our property values almost doubling in the last 2 years. So now what's going to happen if the companies start calling their employees back and the people that actually moved up here to work remotely? What's going to happen if they need to go back? So that's one of the main factors that we're going to look at here for 2022. The second thing that I think could really affect our prices is global climate change. And where is our snow? Last year, as many of you have experienced as well as I, but it really didn't snow very much last year, and it rained a lot. And is this something that we're going to experience here in the Tahoe area? Another factor too, talking about global climate change, is the fires. I mean, that was so close to us in South Lake Tahoe, and the firefighters did an amazing job. But is August now, instead of being one of the best months of the year, now it's smoke season? And I know during that time our sales really slowed down, and also I got a lot of calls from my clients deciding that they wanted to move because they didn't want to live in the smoke. So is this going to be something that we're just consistently going to have to experience? The third factor that could really decrease our prices is it's getting so crowded here. Now that everyone has moved here, we've increased our population by over 5,000 here in our little town. It is crowded here, but I think also it seems crowded because a lot of the employees that were working in the restaurants and in the grocery stores and kind of in the area, they needed to stay home because of COVID. So now people are coming back to work, right? And so the waits aren't so long at the restaurants and the grocery store. And I think also we just need to time where we're going and what we're doing. So, in the summertime, maybe during the 4th of July, probably going to Donner Lake, it's going to be crowded, and you're going to just have to understand that. So you might as well look to go to the river or go to some of our other lakes in the area. So you really just become cognizant of when to go, and then actually the crowds kind of disappear. And then the fourth thing that could really affect our real estate prices right now and really soften prices is this movement in both Placer County and the town of Truckee to ban short-term rentals. A lot of people rely on the income generated by short-term rentals, and also the fact that the rental income has really increased over the last 2 years as people decided to drive up here instead of flying all over the country. With the increase in popularity of short-term rentals, I think also there's been this backlash of local residents where they don't really want to live next to a vacation rental, especially when those owners are not very careful about who they rent to or how many people they rent to or regulate the parking. Just in Tahoe Donner alone, there are over 1,000 short-term rentals. So could you imagine if they just banned it completely? And that would probably lead to, 400 or 500 homes coming on the market potentially. So that is probably one of our main factors that could increase our inventory to a level where we would probably see a shift between a seller's market to a buyer's market. Now that we've gone through the 4 risks that we're gonna face for our prices to soften, let's take a look at actually what I think is gonna happen. In terms of the companies calling workers back to the office, the thing is we really are only 3 to 4 hours away, and it's always been, people have always commuted back and forth. When they've lived up here, they've commuted back to Reno to fly out and already commuted back down to the Bay Area. So to see a huge rush of people moving back to the Bay Area, I don't really think that's gonna happen, at least in the year 2022. In terms of climate change, you know, the reality is, look, that's gonna affect everybody and everywhere. So yes, I mean, maybe the skiing will be better in Jackson Hole, but at the same time, you know, if you love Tahoe, you know, you're probably gonna just mountain bike more or get used to our lack of snow and wear masks during the fires or go other places. But, you know, in the end, this whole global climate change is something that we all have to do together, and it's not something that we're gonna be able to escape. So let's take a look at our carbon footprint and make some changes so that we can keep our Tahoe winters. Number 3, in terms of the crowds, like I said before, you know, if it's a busy holiday weekend, you know, pick where you're going and, you know, maybe skip Safeway and go across the street to the grocery outlet. Or, you know, if you're looking to go to Lake Tahoe, pick some of the beaches that aren't as crowded. So you just have to kind of pick your times now, and you can really still avoid the crowds. And the last thing is this short-term rental ban. I would just say, please, 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 call the town council members and ask them gently not to destroy our real estate market by putting a short-term rental ban in place for the long term. You know, I think that there's a balance and that there could be more enforcement so that if you are short-term renting your property, you have a limit to how many people can be there. And if your renters continually, you know, not follow the rules and are disruptive to your neighbors, then maybe it's just not a great fit for you to do that. But if you're responsible, why not? I think the other solution to that too is different neighborhoods should be able to decide if they're a short-term rental community or not. In terms of the numbers, Zillow is predicting a growth of 12% in home prices nationwide. And we're probably gonna see that up here as well. And as long as the supply doesn't drastically grow, I think our prices are basically going to stay stable and then increase throughout the year. From a personal standpoint and what we're experiencing, we're not seeing any slowdown in the amount of buyer calls and buyer demand for homes. Really, we still have a very, very limited supply of properties on the market. Now, if you're not using your home anymore, I still ask you, why are you holding on? You know, we have experienced our peak pricing. It took us 15 years to get back to this price. So what are you waiting for? There is a huge demand for buyers. And if you want to sell your home for a fantastic price, now probably through middle of 2022 is going to be a fantastic time. Now, if you're thinking about purchasing a house, look, if you want to experience the Tahoe Truckee lifestyle, meaning hitting every powder day when it snows, or going on a mountain bike ride during your lunch hour, or allowing your kids to experience the mountain lifestyle and rock climb and go to the rivers and swim in the lakes, like, this is it, right? So why are you waiting and postponing and waiting for the prices to go down? You know, purchasing a home up here is typically not a real estate play, so to speak, right? Like, if you're just gonna make a real estate play where you want like huge appreciation, this is probably not the market for you, particularly where we are in the real estate cycle. Go to other parts of the country for that. But if you're looking for the best lifestyle experience for both you and your family and just living in this incredible environment, like, here it is. And here's the thing, all of our houses and our neighborhoods and everything, they're different, right? It's not like cookie cutter. So it could take a little while for you to find that place that you really want to call home. So, you know, if you're looking and you want that lifestyle, let us know and let us start helping you with the search so we can find that perfect property for you and your family to start making memories and having fun. So I'm Christine Morrison, your Tahoe Truckee real estate expert. To wrap it up, I think we're going to see our prices stabilize. I don't see a major crash or huge price correction happening here in 2022, but stay tuned. We'll have lots of videos coming in the future, and if you ever have any questions at all, always feel free to call, text, or email.